Live in action. Go ahead, start off, Power Thumb. We live?
We
Yeah.
live. No, you live.
Yeah, start off.
All right. So, Shalom. We're going to give all praises due to the Most High.
How by Shem, how shout by Shem Wakapadash.
All right, double honors unto apostles and the elders of the great Muslim that rule well, salutation to the elect.
That's right.
And then we back here another Friday, putting that work.
Another Friday night live.
Yeah, another Friday night live, and we see what time we in right now. We see what's going on in Austria, where they're talking about what, man, locking down the whole people that are unvaccinated. So we see what's going on. We see that they plan that they had going on. All right, it wasn't really about the max. All right, they had a different agenda. And that's what we've been warning you people about. You know what I'm saying? Martial law, concentration camps, and all these things are going on, man. All right. So we can start off. Hey, you got a scripture for me?
No, a second. You got something?
I got
Yeah,
you.
you got a scripture.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 3. It says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?"
Yeah, that's right, man. So that's how we shy and the disciples asking, what shall it be? What is the time that's showing that we're going to be at the end of days? All right, go ahead.
That's right. It says, "And Yahushua answered and said unto him, Take heed that no man deceive you."
Yeah, that's right, man. So it said, take heed that no man deceive you, and that's what's going on right now, man. All right, you see, they pushing the so-called max, like that will make any difference, and we see that's not making any difference. All right, whether you take that max or you not, man, guess what, man? It's not gonna stop it's not gonna stop the agenda, which is what, man? They new world order, man. All right, which is what, man? Bringing down the population of the earth. All right, having you Israelites in subjection. So that's never going to change, man. All right, this ain't really about the masses. It's something deeper than that, man. There's always something behind that. You always gotta watch these people's moves. All right, go ahead.
It says, "For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed."
Yeah, that's right, man. So it says, "Many shall come in my name, saying I am the anointed." All right, you see that's going on right now. Hey, you see that in the church right now, man. You see people in the church, a lot of pastors in the church saying, "Yo, if you love the Most High, hey, take the max." You see Kamala Harris, yo, you want to look out for your brother or what it is, take the max, man. And these things are clear lies, man. All right,
And, she using the scriptures.
yeah.
It's crazy. Jake can see past Esau manipulative ways, because now when she used certain scriptures that when she said God says okay to take the injection, she's not catering toward the Asians or
Right.
Esau or Ishmaelites.
Yeah.
She catering to the tribes,
Right. That's
because the tribes have a connection with the scriptures, so they want to get the tribes to transition or to conform with their agenda.
Right.
Now, real quick, this is Proverbs 14 and 12. "There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death." So at the moment, it may seem the correct thing to do, to comply and to go back to normalcy, but at the end of the day, it's going to lead to your demise, because Esau, New World disorder, it's not comprised of Jake living in, glory. Now, Jake is in certain predicament of power and riches because Esau is using them, whether it be Jay-Z, Drake. Esau is using them for the influence to bring forth the agenda. But when the agenda is fully implemented, Esau don't need them no more. You know, but guess what? Esau is not going to fully implement it because Moses has a plan. But it said there's a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Because Esau want to depopulate the earth. You know what I'm saying? Not only want to depopulate the earth, he want to get rid of the tribes and set up his election of crackers and have everything controlled by AIs and technology and merge man with technology and have the world as one and worshiping Satan. That's the whole plan, to bring the world under a new world disorder and bring everything that is comprised of two into one and bring a marriage towards Satan, whereas we trying to bring a marriage towards Yahweh Shah, which represents righteousness. They want to be a marriage towards wickedness.
I'm gonna continue on. Right. And it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass.
Right. Examples of rumors of wars is the confrontation with Palestine and so-called Arabs, or you see Brit exit. You know, different European countries pulling out of the EU. So these are all different examples of rumors of wars. Or you see the U.S. entering back into Palestine or Afghanistan, or pulling out, let's go back in. These are examples of rumors of war, because it's not the end, it's just the signs of the end. Because it's going to be a moment when the U.S. go inside, it's not going to pull out, and it's going to lead to their demise. Go ahead.
That's right. It says, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Right, all these things must come to pass. What things? The events that's already prophesied in the scriptures. Because the way the Most High set it up is everything has to pay out according to prophecy, step by step. Because there's not going to be one prophecy that's going to step over another prophecy. So it got to happen in sequence. So that's why things are the way it is. Now, sometimes it may feel like we there. Yeah, we are very close, but prophecy had to play out exactly how the Most High said it will. Go ahead.
Yep, it says,
You had a precept too, right? No. All right, go ahead.
for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Right, and not yet. Now, we're very close, but certain things still have to play out. Certain events have to play out. You know, now the main events have to play out is the microchip. You know, and we seeing restrictions. We seeing people being shut out of their jobs for what purpose? To lead the people to the microchip. You know, or the mark of the beast, which is in Revelation 13 chapter, because that's the end goal. There's a reason why Isa keep telling you, all right. Because when it first started with the injection, they would say, well, once you get the first time, you'll be cured, and that's it. Party done. But now it became a second shot. Then it was a third, and there was a booster and a booster. Yeah. And now people are on their fourth, third booster shot. Yeah. And then now you still have to wear PPE. And you still in danger of catching the world deadliest disease that have a 99.9 recovery rate. You know what I'm saying? So Esau is playing a mind game because it was all to condition the people to what he really wants. It was the microchip. Because now they have the pill. You could take the pill if you don't want to get take the jump shot. You could take the pill. So he slowly conditioned the people to say, well, guess what? We know we told you you gotta get the injection, you can stop this variant, that variant, but now we have a variant where the injection's not gonna work. But if you get the microchip, we could catch it before the system get too bad. And you know what people gonna say? Okay. And they're gonna take it. Because we at the time now, people just suspend their common sense. And if you told people 2 + 2 is 0, they will suspend everything they learn about basic math and just accept 2 + 2 is 0. You know, that's what Scripture speaks about. He's the devil, because his whole control is based off the premise of deceit.
You
got no more?
I just want to make a point. Yeah, the scriptures say he spake as a dragon, man. And those are them draconian laws that he's bringing out, man.
And you know, a dragon is strategic. Like a serpent will be comprised of a dragon. Like you have different cat family. You know, when you think of a dragon or a serpent, you're just thinking about a regular serpent. But then you have technically a snake is considered to be part of the dragon family. But then, like, you have a lion, you have a house cat. Esau, he don't figure out how to master the art of deception, because he learned if you give people just enough truth, it'll be believable. But then you throw them off. That's how you speak as a dragon, because he's very deceptive, and he try to hide his true intentions. Because I remember one brother told me this. He said one thing about a serpent and then other animals is that a serpent, you can't really, like a snake, you can't really read their body language, whereas a dog or a cat, if a dog or cat happy, you could read it. But a snake is just one body language all the time, so you don't know their true intention. And that's Esau. He's a serpent, because sometimes he could come off as compassionate. We can't really read it, because everything he do is deceptive. And a snake is very calculative. It will wait. Some snakes have the ability to camouflage. Some snakes have the ability to have venom and paralyze you. And the venom, it don't kick in right away. Sometimes it'll take time for that venom to kick in. But he's still a snake. You know what I'm saying? And that's Esau. Sometimes he learn how to be invisible among you. He act like he's your friend. Yeah, I understand the trouble, but he's invisible because Jake's not looking at him as the enemy. So he's able to be amongst Jake and not be identified as the enemy and be invisible. So he camouflage him. Yeah, what is in politics? Good guys.
Like somebody said a comic book, chameleon.
Chameleon.
That's right. Is it more on that? Or?
Oh no, he got it.
Job chapter 12, verse 16. It says, with him is strength and wisdom, and the deceived and the deceiver are his.
That's right. So with him is strength and wisdom, and that's talking about with the Most High. So it said the deceived and the deceived are what?
Are his.
Are his. So if a person becomes deceived, the Most High, it's the Most High that made that man deceived, because that's that person life. And the reason why we woke up, it wasn't because we would just happen to be very smart and it's something about the world that we just always knew wasn't right. No, it's the spirit that woke us up, and the spirit that gave us the discretion of what's the truth and what's not the truth. So it all goes back to the power of the Most High. And somebody can find if thou receive it, why glory if thou did not receive it? If you Google it, it's gonna come up. Go ahead.
This is Psalm chapter 62, verse 4. It says, they only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Salah. Yeah, that's just going on with what the brother's saying, man. You know.
Found it, bro.
What is it?
1 Corinthians 4:7.
Yeah. You know, with these Edomites, man. You know, as a serpent, you know, you can't really tell what they got going on, man. But it says what, man? They bless with their mouth, but inwardly, hey, man, they curse unto you, man. Right. All right, that's what the scriptures speak about. And guess what, man? Never trust thy enemy, man. These Edomites, they're not a part. They're not looking out for your well-being, man. All right, they do something is part of an ulterior motive, man. All right, and we see that's going on with, you know, what they got going on, man, with the jab and whatever else they pushing, man. All right.
I got a precept back there, brother, real quick. So Psalms 64 and start 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Right, and the wicked being who? Esau. You know, that's the wicked. The ones in rulership, starting with the elites. Hide from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. And they do this thing in secret. Secretly, they want to see the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans on the bottom or destroy them. Starting with the elect. It says, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows. So there's right there. They whet their tongue like a sword, and they're in control of the media. What you hear on TV, what you hear on the radio. All right, they control the plot and the narrative. However they want things to pan out, that's where it's gonna be. You know. So if they are, for example, like what we're going into, the jab or whatever, you know, it's good for you or it's bad for you, it's suspended, it's mandated, that's all up to them. You know, the power is in their hands.
That's right.
It says even bitter words, right?
I was gonna say this, sorry, but like you look into the word wet. Wet is spelled as W-H-E-T. What that word wet means to sharpen. So it says which they wet they tongue as a sword, means they sharpen they tongue as a short sword. Because when Esau comes with deceit, he also comes up with counter arguments, just in case somebody come up and pull his card. So he comes up with a counter argument. So if this happened, we're gonna argue this. Now if you get that far, we're gonna argue this, and discredit all the truth. That's how he sharpened everything he said. And you know what? And the foolish, they fall victim to that. Like, oh well, he did answer this question. Because now, if you're in a car, you might hear like advertisement about the injection, and it might say, some say herbs can heal the the disease. Now and they figure out a way how to take the truth and use it against people that don't know. So you hear like commercials, people talk, and they'll say they'll go against herbs, go against like everything that so-called conspiracy theorists are saying, and flip it. Right. And now people that unsure, they're like, yeah, they did answer the part about the people getting sick or blood clots, and because that's normal, because that's what Esau said. Esau said it was normal, so they believe it because Esau comes with counter arguments to lure people back to the path he wants them to go.
Amen. And that's why
it's like a heist. Like if you watch the Netflix Money Heist, they had a guy that was the professor. So the guy that was professor was the mastermind of the whole heist. He already had a plan. So what if this happened? What to do? Because he said eventually what's gonna happen when they come in, they're gonna look for the weakest link of who's in the heist. So that happened. Know this, know the law, do this, that. So he had everything mapped out, and he mapped out how it will go if the heist went perfect. We also mapped out the variables. So that's what Esau do. He focuses also on the variables just in case things don't go as planned, and how to maneuver around the variables or the possibilities that may happen. Let's like it, brother. Go ahead.
Hey man, that's why America is known as Babylon the Great. You know, because the word Babylon goes back to the Hebrew word babal, which means confusion. Okay, and how does Esau bring about that confusion? Through his democracy, man. You know, you got all these different philosophies out there, you know what I mean? All these different doctrines, you know, like the brother was reading, you know, they wet their tongue like a sword, man. You know, all that deception, man. And like brothers always say, you know, you gotta, if you create a lie, you gotta keep that lie going with more lies, you know? Yeah. And that's Esau, man. All this deception is nothing but a big ball of confusion.
Yeah, and what is it, after this brother's point, is like Esau got that control opposition. You know what I'm saying? They got a control opposition. So they might put it out there, but even the people that's going against it, you know what I'm saying, they're really in league with, you know, with these Edomites, you know?
Mm-hmm. Let me finish this up. Psalm 64 and 4. It says, okay, so it says, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
Because his aim is really targeted at the tribes. Because Esau, he focused on the majority, and he focused on the we'll call it so-called minorities, and who's are opposed to this injection. So you're like, okay, from their studies, they realize the majority of people that are opposed to injection happen to be so-called Negroes, Hispanics, people of Native American descent, and they are opposed to it. So now we got to figure out how to get them to accept it. So part of the influence will be, of course, through celebrities, the music industry. Then it's no secret that just so happened, like most of the mayors from different states have to be a so-called Negro, because they put them in office as governors and mayors just only because they wanted the minority influence or the tribe influence. So let's put somebody that look like them, and they're gonna listen to them, so we could bring them to our agenda. That's the only purpose.
Pawns.
Exactly. They're just pawns on the chessboard. And Esau, he figured it out. But before he did anything, he strategically studied and went over it over and over, had meetings. Like, this is how that's gonna work, and how this means. But what if this happened? Okay, if this happened, we're gonna do this. But what if that don't work? Okay, if plan B don't work, we're gonna bring in plan C and bring it back to, because plan C to make plan B and C to make plan A work.
That's right.
I got something.
Go ahead, bring it up.
This Psalms 83 verse 2 says, "For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate."
Like a tumult is like an uprising, because it's not just Esau, it's the other nations. Like, what you think going on in the other nation, other countries, is why they complying, because Esau, he paid them off, or he have secrets on the other nations that make them comply. And if that country leader, whether the prime minister, whatever the case may be, he doesn't comply, guess what? He disappeared. He have a mysterious death all of a sudden. And then they put somebody in there that they know that's gonna comply and lead.
Like a Haitian prime minister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and another tool that they use is slander.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that media tool, that's their tool that they use, which is the media, to demonize a person, all right, and destroy their image.
Yeah.
You know, and in result of that, you know, that leads to, you know, uprisings, man, and coup d'etats, man, and that's the so-called white man, you know, master deception.
Like, I remember seeing on NBC, and they had people that was like so-called in the hospital on their last, you know, couple hours before they died, and they got the news reporter there, Anything you want to say to the people that's not injected, and they, right before he died, like, yeah, I was one of those that listen to the conspiracy theories. Don't listen to them. Get injected, and then it will segue to 3 days later he died. His last words was, "Get injected."
Yeah.
I wish I got injected.
I wish I got injected. You see how strategic Esau is? But that's what he do. You know, he plays on the people's minds because he already understands you're gonna hear so-called conspiracy theories, which a lot of it may be true, but they ain't gotta combat it with you gotta discredit it and then combat it to lead you back to his path.
Right.
And it says, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel
Right,
against.
they that hate thee had lifted up the head, because it just wasn't the so-called white man that put us down. It was the other nations, because when the so-called white man brung us down, guess what? The other nation exploited us being at the bottom. That's why they in your neighborhoods, they selling you, they got the liquor stores, the Chinese food. They don't sell no Chinese food. There's no Chinese culture food that they actually eat in China. They just fried food.
Yeah, they don't eat none of that.
Like that's like me having a Mexican restaurant that sells fried chicken and fries and no Mexican food. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they have in the hood. You know, then I have the nail salons, the 24-hour fruit stands.
Corner stores.
Ishmael have the bodegas now. Now it's before the Latin tribes had the bodegas.
Yeah.
Now they have the deli.
Yeah,
All these different deli.
Yeah.
And then now look, you notice a lot of these delis they change the how they market it, because they change the glass, and it will be in the front of the glass is different type of smoke glass, and like shit to get high from. Yeah. The different papers to roll up your weed, different hookahs. Like that's how they market at the Jake. Cause they look at Jake as being a monkey. Look at it, bro.
It says they have taken crafty counsel against our people.
They have taken crafty counsel against that people. That's why they have every September we have the United Nations meeting. And guess what? There's no representative for the tribes, but there's a representative for Ishmael. There's a representative for Esau. There's a representative for Elam, and on down, all the way down to Moab, Ammon. But where's the representative for the tribes? There is none, because they all against to destroy the tribes.
And consulted against our hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Yeah, let get rid of the undesirables of the earth. And because Esau, this is the thing with you stupid ass niggas, excuse my language. Y'all waiting for Esau to still call you a nigga. Esau evolved. He not calling you niggas no more. Right. He had different language now. That's why it's funny, even Kanye West said it. He said now they'll say the rapper, or what are the words that Esau used. He got different words now, other than nigga.
Cold words. Cold words.
Or thug. That's a new word saying nigga. They can say thug on the news.
These savages.
Because Esau could do the same, or savages. Esau could do the same crime, but Esau would never call him a thug. So niggas do it. 3 thugs enter into the apartment of a woman and rob the woman, with weapon, arm, like, but Esau would never call Esau or the Edomites thugs. So he got a new way of calling you niggas. Go ahead.
It says that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. That's
right. So that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance, because they really they start out trying to fully do away with the name, Because if you would say we're Israelite, they laugh at us like, you Israelite? Ha! You know? They look at us like we being the fool. And now they trying to fully do away with the history. So now when we do video, they trying to, you know, flag the videos, stop anything had to do with Hebrews. They trying to stop it from going out because they don't want us to, the word to come back that we are chosen people of the Most High. That's why they have a term called environmental racism. And environmental racism, what that means is racism within the environment. You go to Jake neighborhoods, you'll see a McDonald's or Wendy's, fast food. And soon you go in Esau neighborhood, you don't see that stuff. Because Esau wouldn't tolerate all the options of food is just fast food. They'll file a petition and for all that stuff to be shut down, but not in Jake neighborhoods, because it's environmental racism.
Can I mention something on that? I was trying to get a salad, and I couldn't find a salad in our neighborhoods. Yeah, I had to go into like a Edomite neighborhood to find a salad bar.
Have a better options of food, you know, Esau neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I was gonna say just to add. You know what I'm saying? Even with now, they push it a little further now because even if you go into a regular restaurant, you're gonna need that pass. You know what I'm saying? And to me, what I've experienced, like the vibration behind the pass when they ask you about it, you know what I'm saying? It's not just, yo, could I see your pass? It's like something behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you know, Esau new way of saying niggas is different now.
Right.
Esau don't use nigga no more.
Yeah.
You know, that's like Jake. It's like old Jake terms. Like Jake don't say really what's up, homie? Oh, we don't really use the word cracker no more. Now sometimes we just call the white man the devil. But like how many of us use the word the man? You know, that's old school language. Just like Esau, just like we evolved with our language towards the so-called white man, Esau evolved with his language towards us. And he know sometimes you gotta be political correct. Right. So when you use certain languages, other insiders, they know what they mean by that. And you know, when they say a thug, 9 out of 10 is being referenced to one of the tribes. But it's all strategic. That's how this man operate.
When they read the hidden ones, it's going into Israel, but really it's going into the elect or the ones out there in the houses and bars pushing this word. You know, that's the ones that really gonna come forward because, you know, through the spirit, this man is being exposed. You know, 2/3 in exposing Esau. You know, they can do what the Esau say. But
yeah, they ain't compliance.
Yeah, man. But Esau is finding the most turbulence or the most trouble with the men that had this word.
That's right.
Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans.
That's right, man. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. That dust represents confusion. You know, which America is that virgin daughter of Babylon. Okay, because like brother went to earlier, Babylon means confusion. All right, and America is just a place of confusion, man. One example, which went to plenty examples earlier, but another example is this whole thing with homosexuals. You know, I didn't want to say that word, but
yeah, that's now became a curse word.
You know,
you got to code words now.
Now they got the algorithms. You can't say nothing no more.
Well, after 2 minutes, it kind of dies down though. You know, but still, they'll still flag the chat. You know,
you say anything about the alphabet groups.
The alphabet groups, right? Slocky, the alphabet groups, man. You can't tell a man from a woman. You know.
No more people. Sit on the ground, Slocky. It says, "For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate."
Yeah, sit on the ground because you can be brought out of your rulership. You know, to your last rulership, and you no longer be called tender and delicate. Why? Because this place is not touched by war.
America was one time in the heavens, and now the Most High is bringing His glory, the glory from the heavens down to the ground to destruction.
Yeah.
You know, because at one point, most of our family members was, you know, first generation, whatever they was from, whether it was from the Caribbean islands, Central America, wherever they were from,
Down south.
or down south, they were considered first generation, because they came here thinking that for it would be a better life, you know. But now the truth's coming out. This ain't the place you want to be at. This place is wicked.
Oh,
We know it. It says, take the millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg.
You know, and at that time, with the millstone, that's how you got flour, you know, or the corn mill, because there wasn't no blender. You had to go to the grind mill, and you made your flour and whatever the grind mill to the, or anything grinded, it went to the grind mill, you know. So it says, read that part again.
It says, take the millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass.
And that's what's happening. The Most High, He's exposing America, because they don't really use the term now. You know, you was a kid, they'll say, you know, don't let nobody see your private parts, versus referring to your general areas, you know. So you have that talk. This is your private part. No, you know, nobody touch blah blah blah. You know, because your private parts is supposed to be private. You know, nobody's supposed to see that. So that's the part that's supposed to be concealed. But the Most High, what the Most High doing, Esau, being as a woman, He's revealing that woman and exposing all her private part. Things that's supposed to be secret is being exposed. The thighs, the leg. Because back then they didn't show that much skin. Now, because we read it now, it don't really. It's like hard to understand, because we see so much skin now. A woman got her fucking the dark meat of her cheeks, her ass cheeks hanging out, and she got her a cleavage showing. That's a normal thing. Whereas in ancient time, you didn't see that. You know, you didn't see too much of a woman, because a woman had to carry herself with respect. But now, but we go in the scripture. The scripture is saying the Most High, He's starting to expose, you know, Esau. So a lot of the stuff that we can speak about right now, about different secret society, how do you think we learned it? How do you think we learned it? Because there's so many books of insiders that used to be involved in Esau secret society that came out and exposed it. You have this brotherhood, you had the Mason, you have this Mason, you have this degree of Mason. It's in the books now. You go on Google, you can find out anything. That's how we learn about Esau's blood sacrifice. Because certain things is not in the scriptures. But however, there's certain guys that was involved with Esau demonic occult. They came out and exposed it. So the Most High exposed how everything Esau do is of Satan. It's all demonic. Go ahead.
Yeah. It says, it says, pass over the rivers, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
Right, you can break it down.
Yeah, you know, when it says nakedness, it's talking about sin. Okay, because, you know, clothing represents righteousness in the scriptures. All right, you know, when you clothe yourself, right, you're covering yourself, man. All right, you have a covering for yourself, but when you naked, you know, you're exposed. Okay, because why? You know, you're going off, and you're going against the Most High, and that's Esau Edom, man. You know,
like back in the days before the cartoons you had now, you had Looney Tunes, right? And it'll always be sometime in the Looney Tunes, and let's say he'll have his he'll be exposed, and it showed the road running coyote, coyote chasing the road running. At some point, it will show his he's in boxes, and he being exposed, he being ashamed. That go to show that nakedness represents shame. Right? Which represents sin. Excuse me, that.
Yeah, it says, I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. You know, and this is talking about Yahweh Shai. All right? The Heavenly Father's only begotten Son. Okay? He's going to take vengeance because why? The Lord's people, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, the children of Israel, which are also scattered amongst these other nations, all right, they have been destroyed by the heathen, beginning with the so-called white men, okay? And also Yahweh Shai, all right, he was crucified by the Romans, man. 2/3 of the nation of Israel and the Romans, man. And those are the people that are going to be his targets when he returns, man. Because when Yahweh Shai returns, all right, he's declaring war upon all the nations, okay? Because all the nations, they're liberals, man. They're sovereigns. They're free, you know. Really, the main nation, Esau is at the top. The other nations are under Esau, but we under everybody, man. We at the complete bottom, you know. And Yahweh Shai is coming, like Scripture say, roughly paraphrasing, to proclaim liberty, man. You know, to his people. And he's not gonna meet the so-called white man as a man, because Esau has been set up on a level to where, you know, the blessing that has been bestowed upon him, which is the sword, okay, is very great, you know, and it's getting more and more advanced, man. You know, they got Russia just tested nuclear missiles the other day, man. You know, they got these military weapons, nuclear missiles, man. All types of shit, laser guns, you know, all types of shit, man, that we don't even know about, man. Super soldiers and, you know, mechanical transhumanism and all that, you know, machinery, you know, robots and shit, you know. So that's why we need divine intervention. That's why Yahweh Shai is going to step in, man. Okay, nobody can redeem us. Because Esau is too great, man. You know, the power he was blessed with, you know. Yahweh Shai got to step in. So that was on that. Milat, you say yes?
It's book of, let's see. Isaiah 29 verse 16, kind of fast. 29 verse 16. Surely your turn of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay.
Yeah,
Keep working.
yeah, you know, that's talking about the so-called white man, which is Esau. You know, it says, surely you're turning the things upside down, because that's what Esau did. All right, you know,
That's why it's known as Babylon,
yeah.
because the confusion comes in when everything the roles get rotated.
Yeah.
You know, now you could identify yourself as a female. You felt this way, so you could identify yourself as such and such. And now a person have to respect your pronouns, and that's confusion. Because now, if that applies to them, that has to apply towards everything else. Because that opened the door for now. If a person is an Asian and he identified himself as an Ishmaelite, you can't judge him now. That's based off that logic. And now he's obviously a Chinese person, but he identified himself as an Arab. You're like, what? That'll be confusing.
Yeah.
Or if a kid, he may be 7 years old, he identified as Spider-Man. What's his new Spider? Miles Morales. He identifies as Miles Morales. So now I gotta call him Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man. That's confusion. So, cause this new world is based off taking away the truth.
Yeah.
And feed it into a delusion. Because the more people are away from the truth, the more they have control of the people. Because now they're easy to manipulate. Because you can tell them anything now. You could tell them Superman, Santa Claus exists. And these are adults you could tell it to. You know, because one thing, you know, certain brothers, we in the, you know, construction business. So what's inquired is that you gotta take a respiratory class. So when you take a respiratory class, they show you different respirators and face coverings, and they'll show you like the common dust mask, and it doesn't really do anything, and they'll tell you that in the class, but that's supposed to stop the world deadliest disease. And people just suspend all common sense. So you ask a person with that mask, will you go in a room with people that's fully infected with Ebola? They'll tell you no. So why would you go around with that mask, with the world deadliest virus, and you think that worked? But they can't tell you an answer because they believe whatever the media tells them. Go ahead.
This is Psalm chapter 10, verse 7. It says, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. And that's going in, to these Edomites, man. It says his mouth is full of cursing, deceit, and fraud. So guess what, man? In later on scriptures, man, this so-called white man, he don't tell the truth, man. He always lies to you, man. He make it sound so sweet, you know what I'm saying? Like our people, they forget the lies that happened in the past, man. Which is the past ain't really that far back. You know what I mean?
That's why the scripture is called the fathers of lies.
Yeah, that's right. Right. It says
fraud, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, fraud has to do with deceit. Now, you think of fraudulent activity, you think of deceit. Like somebody hacking into your account. What is that? That's deceit. Mm-hmm. They had your information, and now they're acting like you. That's deceit. And they found a way where they can maneuver around the system and benefit around it. That's what Esau do. His whole system is all fraudulence. He figured out a way to how to exploit the people for their hard work and to steal from the people, or he figured out the art of throwing the pebble and hiding in his hand like he ain't do nothing.
Right. It says, verse 8, it says, he sitteth in the lurking place of the villages, in the secret places doeth he murder the innocent, his eyes are privily set against the poor.
I said privily.
Yeah, I was going to get the part about, it says, in the secret places do he murder the innocent. All right, and that's what he's doing right now, man. This whole situation that he got going on, man. Hey, as the brother said earlier, man. Hey, they trying to wipe out a lot of our people first and foremost, man. All right. At one time, it was in China, and further down the line, they talking about literally they saying, oh, this disease is about the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
It's totally flipped the script.
Yeah, it totally flipped the script out of nowhere, man. So that's going to the deceit and the fraud, and the words of the mouth is smoother than butter. All right, so that's what the true MO of the so-called white men, these Edomites. All right, they trying to murder. All right, the chosen people, man.
Let's get back up to what you were saying. Because this ain't nothing new with this double.
Right.
Now, what's happening now is just Esau trying to complete it. Because Esau, he going back to the 60s, he had the war on poverty with President Lyndon B. Johnson, and he figured out a way, well, we gotta get the male figure out the home. Mm-hmm. So that way we have the woman at the head of the household, and then we have to put the woman in the workforce. That way she be so focused on generating income to take care of the home. And while the child is at school, we could craft or build the state of mind that we find desirable in a child. So yeah, exactly. They figure out a way how to corrupt the child. So, and even though it did happen with Esau too, but it mostly happened, it affected Jake. And then they'll have all these black exploitation film, and they put the drugs inside the J community. At one point, the big time drug was heroin, and then coke got introduced, and then they figured out how to take coke and make it hard, and then at one point it was known as Ready Rock. It was rich crackers was smoking it, but they found a way to bring it to Jake neighborhood, and most of Jake parents in the 90s was either a former crackhead or was a crackhead, and their grandparents were taking care of them, or they was learning from the streets. They had no fucking guidance. But then it was snorting cocaine. But you know, their parent was either a drug addict, but their parent was having kids, so you had all these offspring just out in the street trying to figure out how to get by. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to figure out how to get by, and they learned it outside in the street. You know what I'm saying? And rather than having a male guidance.
Yeah.
Because Esau companies that had Johnson and Son. Let me think of something. Tiffany and Son. So Esau figured out a way. You gotta have a business and pass it down to your offspring, so they can have generational wealth. Whereas they told Jake, you gotta go to college, you gotta learn craft, go to school, and work under or come in as an entry level position and receive a position that you cannot pass on to your son. Because if you die, that's it. Your son don't get anything. Sorry,
bro, back you up. Even with these women, you know, they're so caught up in working that they'll say, I ain't gonna have no kids until I'm in my 40s.
Right.
And
right.
the older you are, the more risk it is to have a kid, man.
And that's why, to back you up now, you see like so-called Democrats, what they'll do is they never have a problem with, funding black colleges. Because the majority that's in black colleges are who?
Woman.
The black woman. Because they figured the longer we keep her inside the school or studying, the chance of her, because she's going to come out of college in her mid-30s, if that, and then now she has to find a person to mate with. But in her mind, being that she spent all this time in school, she's looking for a guy that don't exist. So the chances of her finding a mate and being happy, it goes down. So what happened is, it leads back to Esau's plan and stopping her from repopulating. Because they have the abortion clinics. Esau has different mechanisms to stop Jake from repopulating and trying to get rid of the undesirables.
I'll say this too. The elder Charles Dockbar, he brought this out yesterday. I was watching a live show. It kind of stuck with me. He said, the environments that Jake grew up in, which is pretty much the hood, the ghetto, those are breeding farms, for slaves, man. Because most majority these Jakes that be born into these hoods and shit, they end up in prison, man. And that's where they serve their slavery at, man. Because when you go to jail, you're pretty much a slave, man.
Yeah, because they're allowed to be slaves under Esau's law. Yeah. That's why it was that is the 14th Amendment. 13th Amendment, and then they have the fine line, the so-called abolish slavery. Then it said unless punishable by a crime. So they didn't abolish slavery fully, because slavery is still allowed only if it's a punishable by a crime. That's why you had, we go into the history of the common leasing law, and they'll show you history, show you in movies like the movie Life with Martin and Eddie Murphy. So they'll show it as a comedy, but that was true. Or Shawshank Redemption, and they were showing how Jake was just getting charged with minor charges, but they was getting charged. What Esau would get slapped on the wrist on, Jake was getting fully charged with it. And it still happened to this day, because they wanted Jake to serve. They wanted Jake in the prisons, so that way they could lease them out to different corporations and work for free when they could get away with it. So slavery, it just never ended. But now Esau realized we have the understanding of AIs, and now we don't need really actual slaves. We have the AIs. We got to find a way to get rid of the people and keep a few around to maintain the AIs.
More. This is verse 9. Psalm chapter 10, verse 9. It says, he lie in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lie in wait to catch the poor.
He lie in wait secretly. So he's not just laying in the bushes, just waiting to attack. He's calculative.
Yeah.
He's waiting for the perfect opportunity to make that strike.
That's that snake.
That's how he operate. That's the brother said. That's the serpent. Because that's why you go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and it says that the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Because he just wasn't a lowlife. He was very calculative. Just like a hunter, a predator, like a serpent, a lion. That's why the Most High compared Esau to a lion or a serpent. Because he just don't attack, he calculate. What's that in Psalm 68? And it says he inquired a diligent search.
Mm-hmm.
Before he do anything, was it?
64.
Psalm 64, slide it. In Psalm 64, it mentioned about he inquired a diligent search. Because before Esau do anything, he do studies on it. And he found out what's the best technology for whatever purpose he's trying to do. Just like we talk about like the microchip. That ain't nothing new. Esau been studying that. But how you look up electrodes, Esau been studying how electrode works and he can control the mind. Just by releasing certain electrodes and frequency. That's not nothing new. It's just that now he said let's put it all into a microchip. Like there's a video where Esau, I believe, he kills a dog, and he was able to keep the dog alive for, I believe, a couple of minutes with electrodes, and was able to make the dog. This is a beheaded dog. He was able to make the dog conscious and bark and react and keep it alive for a moment of time through electrodes. That's Esau. That's why scripture say that this man, he's wiser than Daniel.
Yeah.
There's certain Esau will tell you different species of dogs, different species of mosquitoes, flies, things different species of roaches,
plants, water.
Different species of types of plants that you will never think about. Because Esau look into everything. He's a fool because he think he could outsmart the Most High. But Esau, he looks into everything. Go ahead.
It says he lied in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lied in wait to catch the poor. He do catch the poor when he drawed him into his net.
Like the net is a trap.
Yeah.
So he catching them when he draw them to his net, which is a trap. And the way he catch them is through his deception. Because if the spirit dealing with you and you know that this is a trap, you're not gonna walk into that trap. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna walk into the trap and get caught because you're aware, and that's the elect. But the ones that's not aware, they walk right into it. Nah, I trust the devil. Because you know how many people that actually trusted this injection?
Yeah.
They walking into Esau's trap.
Yeah.
And they be like, well, my cousin got injected. She's okay.
He good.
Sarnetta was like his son. No, not his son. His wife, his daughter got injected. They okay, but he was just getting on. What's his guy's name? Tazaria. That he teaches that's okay to get injected, but then he ended up getting injected. So yeah, he's being a hypocrite. Sarnetta, yeah, he took the jump shot. He took the jump shot, but the thing is, he fell into Esau's net, his trap, because he didn't want to follow the minority. He just wanted the majority, because he didn't want to lose out on the pleasure of the world.
Other restrictions.
Yeah.
He didn't want to lose out none of the restrictions.
And they okay for now, because who knows, down the line, what's going to happen to these people, time will tell.
Again, sweet.
And I've been hearing, you know, I've been hearing that people that's taking that, you know what, they're going to the hospital more than people that's unjuiced. You know, so check that out.
I got a precept. Got more.
No, that's it.
This is Hosea. So go back 4 and 6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee." And you know, Lord's people, the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you rejected knowledge because the Lord has men out there in the highways and byways, putting up classes on the internet, bringing out this word day in and day out, letting you know your true nationality, letting you know who the name of the Lord is. Okay, the Most High and the Son, which is Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Telling you who's your enemy, your adversary, who's the devil. All right, but you ain't taking heed, man. You know, because you put your trust in the so-called white man, Esau, the devil. It says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me."
Yeah, we got family members that you probably warned, like, don't take it. And guess what? They took it anyway. So it's like at some point you be like, all right, whatever. That's just their lot. You know, of course you love your mother, you love your father, but if that's their lot, it is what it is. You know, but you know, the point is, we warned them, and they look at us as being the fools. What are you gonna do? Because how you gonna work? How you gonna travel? We're like, well, I trust in the Most High. And when you give those type of answers, we looked at as the fools, like, man, this person don't know, man, watch. And eventually he's gonna take it. Because we see like, all right, this is the end. We see that this is the end. And we know what comes after that. Whereas they looking at it for another 10, 15 years. They looking at next 10 years, you ain't gonna have a job because you was bucking against the system. No, the next 10 years, we looking to be in the kingdom.
Hey, well, I'll say this, man. Shit, the way the world is going, man. Shit, we don't got 10 years, bro. Because, shit, look how much the price is going up, man, for food. You know, meat prices and goods,
gas,
housing, gas. You know, everything is going up, man. So, you know, that's an indication that it's about to be hyperinflation, man. All right, so your little job ain't you ain't gonna be able to, and your wages ain't keeping up with the hyperinflation. So your little jobs ain't about to save you, man.
I was gonna say, and I heard a brother say that earlier today, and I completely agree. Our people, a lot of time about our family, they may ask you a question, you know, what you gonna do? And you say, well, I'm gonna trust in the Lord. That's not an answer that's good enough for them. You know what I'm saying? It's not good enough. You know what I mean? Yeah, they want like all these intricate details. So yeah, I go over here to the government.
I got a stash.
Yeah, I got the stash.
They want some carnal.
Yeah, but when you say, "Yo, listen, man, I trust the Lord, man," you know what I'm saying? That's not a good enough answer for not just our families, for most of our people. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Co-workers.
Yep. That's why it says, "I will also reject thee." That's them being rejected. Because they just can't get the understanding. Right? The Lord ain't gonna be fighting you, wrestling you. You know what I mean? Angel come to you and, you know, preparing your dreams and, you know.
Believe in me.
Yeah. It says, "I will also reject thee." Talking about you gonna be led astray. It says that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. Right, and we're supposed to be a nation of kings and priests, you know. But these people out here ain't preaching about the Lord, man. They're preaching about going to school, going to the military, becoming something, fight for your country, you know. Continuing on, it says
they fight on the side that's in opposition of the Most High.
Right.
The Most High is like, well, I'm doing this for your benefit.
Yeah.
I'm bringing out your enemies, but Jake wanna join the enemies and fight against the Most High.
it says, finish up. I will also forget thy children.
Damn.
You know.
Hey man, listen, we live in a time where the decisions you make is really like life and death. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be doing shit all willy-nilly. You know what I'm saying?
But what about the children part? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now we gotta break that down.
Yeah.
So it says, I also will forget their children, because now we're the offspring, well, we're the generation following after, well, generations follow after that generation. And generation after generation, we didn't even know who we were.
Right.
You know, our parents, they know they were Israelites. Their parents, they know they were Israelites. And their parents didn't know they were Israelites. So we just picked up whatever they taught. They taught us. And our parents picked up what they was taught from their parents. And it wasn't about Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. They're just picking up everything that's outside of the Most High, you know. So now the Most High is having mercy on us, and we coming back to what, you know, what the truth is, and what the Lord is actually about. Is it more on that?
No, I'll say.
Let me just bring this out real quick, and we'll close with this. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep His commandments.
What's the meaning of life?
Right. For this is the whole duty of man. That's it. You know, it's simple. You know, the simple part is obey the Most High. And when you obey the Most High, you know, blessings follow. When you disobey or be insubordinate to the Most High, what follow after is punishment. So we looking to be, you know, well, right now we trying to serve the Most High as much as we can. And can we keep the law as perfect as possible? Of course we can. That's why we have faith in Yahushua, and we're going off Yahushua's reputation as of right now. And we're looking to be transfigured to the glory of Yahushua and not be sinful anymore. You know, so with that, we're going to close, and we'll give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Ba'akodash. Shalom.
Shalom.